morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about a couple of new EXs, and a new item card actually, which we kind of need to talk about as well, that could make a real difference in the Pokemon trading card game. You ready for this? Awesome. Let's start off with Terra Lapras EX. I should say, of course, these are from the Stellar Miracle set, which is why we've got the whole full-on terrestrialization thing going on, and you've got different colours of energy, and it's all over the place. But it was kind of like that when we saw it with Terrapagos. That's kind of the whole theme of the set. I have done a translation myself here, I should say, as always, though I have checked with the lovely Anton Boulet to make sure I've not done anything silly. So Lapras EX then, what have we got? Basic Pokemon, 220 HP, weak to metal, remember, because it's ice in the video game, and single energy, 40 damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Just this Pokemon, not both active Pokemon, just this one. And it's fine, but then you got to sit here and go, well, hang on a second, like, how often are you really going to get enough energy on there? Like, to take out an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill standard EX or Pokemon V, you really need to be getting like 6 energy on there to do 240. Well, 5 only does 200. It's just too much. It's not going to work. Well, might I introduce you to the second attack? The second attack here, look at the top 20 cards of your deck and attach any number of energy you find there to your Pokemon in play. Now, before I learned to translate these cards myself, this is a kind of an attack where I would have been messaging Anton and going, wait, hang on a second. Is it definitely all energy, not just basic? Is it definitely all of your Pokemon and not just the active, or not just the bench? I don't need to check with Anton, I can read it myself, and it clearly says energy, not basic energy, and it clearly says your Pokemon in any way that you like. This has the potential to be absolutely full-on redonkulously busted. You look at the top 20 cards of your deck, and you attach any energy you find to any of your Pokemon in any way that you like. That, ladies and gentlemen, is patently absurd. Now, there are downsides to this, of course. Firstly, it's free awkward energy, water, psychic, metal. Secondly, it's an attack, so you've got to use your attack for the turn to basically set up and give your opponent a free hit if they're able to attack. Okay. Here's the thing, though. Your opponent might not be able to KO you, and you get completely set up, if you can pay for it. How do you pay for it? Yes, not actually that difficult. Because remember I showed you the A-Spec tool the other day. The one that reduces the attack cost of all of your these Terra Pokemon it is attached to by 1 energy of any type. Remember that one? Yeah. That works here. You can use Sparkling Crystal to bring this down to a 2 energy attack. Okay, good start. But how are we going to get the 3rd energy on? Really, this attack is way better when it's turn 1 going second, where we can go from 0 to 60 and just get this rolling immediately. Well, I've got you there as well, because we've got a new item card, Glass Trumpet. Now, it's an item card that can only be used if you have a Terra Pokemon in play, but you choose 2 of your bench colourless Pokemon and attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to each of them. Yep, that'll do it. Because now we can use Glass Trumpet to accelerate 1 of our energy to Lapras. We can use Sparkling Crystal so that we don't need to attach a second. You attach for turn, and oh look, would you believe it? Now you've got all 3 energy on there, turn 1 going second, and now you've got ridiculous energy acceleration. That is how you get working with Lapras. Oh, Wassy, how are we ever going to find the right tool, bearing in mind it's an A-Spec and they're 1 per deck, and the right item card immediately on our first turn, Arven? Now, admittedly, you will still need to get an energy in the discard, because Glass Trumpet attaches from the discard. You will need to get an energy in the discard in order to use this, alright? Very, very important. But as long as you do, you can then literally just use Arven to search out your tool, Sparkling Crystal, and your item, your Glass Trumpet, and then you're there. Like, if you can get one energy in a discard and then use an Arven, and this can be super easy, like use an Ultra Ball to search for a Luminion. Ultra Ball discards the energy and searches Luminion. Luminion gets Arven, and then Arven goes and gets everything else you need. Now, there's more questions here, like, are you going to have the right Pokemon out so you can really take advantage of accelerating all of the energy? Because I feel confident of the top 20 cards of your deck, you're probably going to see some hits. Again, these are all other questions, but in terms of getting this rolling turn 1 going second, which really has to be the goal, yeah, no, this will work. You absolutely can do this. And one option you have, if your opponent's having a slower start here, you can just put all of the energy onto Lapras and just roll. KOing everything turn after turn until your opponent sets up or loses. I should mention, of course, Glass Trumpet is going to be great for any Pokemon that's colorless. Now, you do have to have a Terra Pokemon in play, admittedly, but there's a bunch of basic Terra Pokemon you can go for here. That's really not a big deal. Obviously, Terrapagos becomes great with Glass Trumpet. That shouldn't really surprise anyone, but literally any colorless Pokemon whatsoever, it's got to be done. Like, it's so good. The fact that you can literally accelerate 2 energy, 1 to each of 2 bench colorless Pokemon with an item card. Yes, if you're playing colorless Pokemon and you're attacking with them, it is absolutely worth just putting a random Terra Pokemon into your deck just to unlock this card. It is that gosh darn good. Glass Trumpet is a hands down, flat out 5 WOSSy card. No question here whatsoever. Extremely easy. It is ridiculous energy acceleration. It's phenomenal. If you want some colorless Pokemon that you could use with it that could do with a little boost of energy, how about Blissey EX, which I know isn't good enough now, but maybe one day it will be, or getting Blood Moon Ursalunar EX rolling a little bit earlier than you might otherwise be able to do so. There are a whole bunch of others. You can use this to attack with Pidgeot EX, if you so wish. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, I am scratching the surface here. As for Lapras, I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 Wossies. I think Lapras is great, but I do acknowledge that getting the energy on there, although we have ways to do it, it's still a combo you're looking for. You're still playing an awkward combination of energy, and it's not perfect. It's not bad. It's good, but it's not perfect, and the attack still isn't quite as good as I might like. So a very good card, don't get me wrong, but let's not be pretending it's perfect. It is just a good card with a lot of potential. But then we've got Hydrapple EX. And here's the thing. We got Diplin in the last set. We got Diplin in Twilight Masquerade. They made us wait for Hydrapple. I think the wait was worth it. 330 HP grass Pokemon, but it is a stage 2, remember? And we've got the ability Ripe Charge. Once during your turn, you may attach 1 basic grass energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. Firstly, abilities that accelerate extra energy are good. Getting extra energy with your ability is good, and sure, it's once per turn, but it's still extra energy, and that's a good thing. Healing, yeah, that's going to come in handy sometimes. It's only 30, it's not going to be all the time, but I assure you sometimes this will work perfectly. And then we've got the attack Syrup Storm. 2 colorless energy, 30 damage base, plus 30 more for each grass energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So if you've got 2 grass energy on here, 1 for the turn, 1 with the ability, you're doing 90 damage. Good for KOing evolving basics and weak support Pokemon, not good as an attack generally. But here's the thing. When it comes to grass energy, we good, ladies and gentlemen. We good. We have got a lot of ways to accelerate grass energy. One of the obvious ones that we just got in Twilight Masquerade, obviously Ogerpon EX. It's a basic Pokemon, and each one you've got in play lets you attach an energy and draw a card, so you're getting more energy down, while also having a bit of a draw engine. This is kind of awesome. And for what it's worth, it's weird, right? Your Ogerpon has the same attack, kind of, as Hydrapple, but it's both active Pokemon rather than all energy attached to yours only. Same multipliers, but the Pokemon you look at is a bit different. But it is still a viable attacker, and of course Hydrapple can attach to Tealmask Ogopon as well as Tealmask Ogopon attaching to itself. You get Tealmask Ogopon attacking quickly if you got a Hydrapple in play as well. One for the turn, one with Ogopon, one with Hydrapple, boom, there's your free, off you go. But there's others. Gardenia's Vigor still very much in the format, so you can be using that to accelerate some extra energy while drawing a couple of cards. And let's not forget, if you want to go silly and you're not afraid to give up a couple of prizes, and remember, if you do give up prizes, Roxanne and Ino will have your back in terms of being able to punish your opponent for having taken those prizes, we've got ourselves Forretress. Now, that will accelerate 5 energy, which is clearly ridiculous, but it will also give up 2 prizes. I'm not sure you need to use Forretress here. It is an option, but honestly, between Tealmask Ogopon, Hydrapple itself, and Gardenia's Vigor, you should be getting a lot of grass energy on the board very quickly. I like this a lot. Yes, it's a stage 2 and that's awkward. Stage 2s are always awkward. I admit that freely. But oh my word, you can do some damage with this. This can be absolutely awesome. I love this. Huge fan. Because here's the thing. I love the ability. I love the attack. But let's not forget we had Diplin in Twilight Masquerade. And the Diplin in Twilight Masquerade is almost good enough on its own. It's not good enough on its own. We just had NAIC where it was legal and it did nothing. But it's there or thereabouts. It's not a million miles away. Because Diplin's got Festival Lead. If the Stadium Card Festival Grounds is in play, you can attack twice. Yeah. And then with a full bench, you do 100 damage. And if you're using that, you can use Thwacky here with the wonderfully named Boom Boom Groove, that if you've got a Pokemon with Festival Lead in play, you can search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. So what you essentially do is you've got the core of your Diplin Thwacky deck, where you can, for a single energy, do 100 damage twice, which incidentally is really good, and search any card during your turn. Thwacky, unlike something like Pidgeot, by the way, is not limited to once during your turn. Well, it is, but it's once during a turn per Thwacky. If you've got multiple out, you can use it multiple times. And you've still got that, but you also play it with Ogopon, and you evolve Diplin into Hydrapple, and then go nuts doing redonkulous damage. So if you want to just do little bits of damage, but being able to attack twice during your turn to take out lots of little Pokemon, Diplin's got your back. But then if you need to evolve up and do huge damage, you can with Hydrapple, and because in theory you're spreading your damage around your field here, you can go and do huge damage, and if you get KO'd, you're not giving up all of your energy, you're just giving up the couple that are attached to Hydrapple. And you can play stuff like the odd Gardenia's Vigor, knowing that you will be able to search it out with Thwacky. You can play a couple of Hydrapple knowing that Thwacky will find it at the perfect time. This is good. I'm giving Hydrapple 5 Wassies and I don't even care. I was all in on Diplin before. Now you're giving me Hydrapple as well. Love it. Absolutely love it. I like these new EXs. I'm a big fan and I think they could be very good indeed. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Matt DS, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.